welcome to this. Thanks, Daniel. Yeah, this session is going to be recorded, as you just have here. Welcome to this open webinar to the Open Call 4 of TrustChain project. As you see, and as you should know, this Open Call is related to multi-chain support for NGI protocols. It's about this interoperability. This is the second webinar. The first one was a few weeks ago. And this is also the last webinar before this open call starts. Okay, we're going to speak about the overall objective of TrustChain. This is a cascade funding project, and it's developed during 5 open calls. This is the 4th, as you heard, and more or less around September is going to be open the fifth one and the last one. Yeah, the overall objective is to create an ecosystem around this decentralized identity management software solutions in order to give more trust to this ecosystem, this data, to be interoperable and evolve about this privacy aware and regulatory compliance. This is the overall view of how the project is going. We started with the OC1 about decentralized digital identity, the OC2 user privacy and data governance. During these weeks, this is starting the OC3, this around economics and democracy. And at this point, we are at the Open Call 4, as I mentioned, about this interoperability and multi-chain support. The last one is going to be green, scalable, and sustainable DLTs. Okay, with this one, we will end this ecosystem about human-centered design, regulatory framework, democracy, market framework, and business potential. And with all of this, we are going to try to create an ecosystem with a lot of agents winning in all of the projects that they are developing, and creating a base in Europe about this approach. Okay, regarding to this call, as you can see, this co-creation with engagement of end users since the requirement of the specification phase till validation of the proposed solutions, provide democratic, transparent, traceable, and regulatory compliant mechanisms that got super ecosystem of entities and actors participating with their digital identities. Also, the use of decentralized digital identity architectures together with IoT, AI, cloud to edge, DLTs, and DTs, and embed in such solution important societal goals in accordance with objective with truth and therefore trustworthiness. This is the name of TrustChain. Okay, the agenda with this presentation is we are going to speak about this Open Call 4. We will put the focus on specific aspects to be covered in your proposals. We'll give you some insights about what do you need to prepare with your presentations, and we are going to answer some questions and see the frequent answered questions. This is the 3. Did I miss the presentation?
No, it's the right one. It's the 4. It's just it should be wrong on the title. Just ignore it. It's Open Call 4 multi-channel. But everything else.
Also the dates I can see.
Everything else seems to be right.
No, this, so okay, yes.
Is this one, and on this call we'll be having 17 projects.
Okay, yeah, the dates are correct. Exactly, it's already open until the 17th of July. This is the amount of money that we are gonna distribute among the whole teams, and they have to develop their projects for 9 months. Okay, we are gonna give up to 116,000 euros per project, but also it's, well, we'll see later some of the things that are related to the money. Sorry about it. Okay, the target applicants for this call are developers, innovators, researchers, companies and entrepreneurs working with different GI relevant topics and application domains and the intersection between the technical field and social science, humanities, as well as any other including economics, environmental, art, science, which can contribute to the NGI traction relevant vision. Okay, as I said before, we want to create a whole ecosystem, so we're going to choose projects with all of these kind of fields, not only from the technical part. We want to create an ecosystem as a whole, okay? More things. Yeah, desirably, for example, we want to reach tier 7. We want to see projects developed during these months, okay? Also, it's very important that you extend in some kind the state of the art that already present about this exactly user privacy, for example, also solving some real problems that are actually are on the table, okay? Okay, about your proposals, you need to specify what your solution will address. This is very important. We need to know about your company, about your project, but you need to specify what solution you will address, okay? Your innovation, as I mentioned, it's very important. How do you extend the state of the art? If you are innovating in some kind, some aspect of any technology, we need you to provide this information, okay? We are funding projects related to innovation, okay? This is very important. Also, the user-centric approach and the co-creation process. This is a project based on the human. It's based on this part of the project that no one usually cares, but it's really important. We need to really care about the project, about the users, and how they interact with the projects. Okay. Also, as the TrustChain name mentioned, it's about also the privacy and also the regulatory framework. You need at least to cover the European rules. Okay. If you extend it to the American, for example, it's okay, but at least you need to cover the regulatory framework of Europe. Also, it's very important that you mention any work you have already done. You have been participating in other projects. Just mention it. We want to know your background, how your team is built. It's important for us to know where do you come from. Okay. Of course, any challenges or opportunities related to equality, diversity, and ethics for inclusion, and also explain how your proposed solutions will align with the building blocks development as a part of Open Call 1 or 2, identity, privacy, and governance. If you plan to use one of the projects that already have been working with us in TrustChain in other open calls, try to do your research about them and see if you can reduce the code. Also, your projects needs to be open source. So this is a win-win for every project that is participating with us. We want this part to be enhanced. Okay, we want to create a whole ecosystem with all of your projects. Okay, related to this open call, things that we are looking for. This is some of the examples. Okay. As you can see, the objective of this open call is to design and build the gateways that will make possible to transfer knowledge, metadata, data, process requirements from one chain to another, for example, in a trustworthy and secure manner. Interoperability across multiple chains, privacy by design. This is very important, by design. Okay, you need to build your projects based on this privacy, not develop it as a label. Trustworthiness by design, it's exactly the same. Scalability, greenness, openness, and legal compliance should be carefully considered. Okay, as I mentioned before, all the legal framework, GDPR, eIDAS, this ecosystem is about it. Some of the examples will be working with NFTs, for example, semantic standards and open ontology schemas, and these mechanisms and procedures that enable trustworthy of digital identities, wallets. Okay. More things here. Models and procedures to support simple and seamless user experience of cross-chain functionalities. Techniques to carry out DIDs, rotation, and translation, so that we can minimize the DIDs management. Platform that can build on top of the existing work that has been undertaken in the different open calls that happened before. Infrastructures that are inclusive, energy efficient, and usable, and platforms and infrastructure that follow European standards. As I mentioned, the legal framework is very important here. And the energy efficient and usable, for example, is going to be one of the main topics that we want to address in the next open call. More things. Okay, transfer of knowledge, metadata, data process, and requirements from one thing to another. Seamless communication and data transfer between different blockchains. Strong encryption and privacy preserving techniques. This is very important. As I mentioned, privacy is one of the main topics of TrustChain. So we want to know what kind of privacy preserving techniques you are using. It's important that you mention it, not only say that you are going to encrypt the data. So we need to know how are you going to achieve this matter, okay? Okay, solution that can handle increasing transaction volumes. Actually, we need your solution to achieve high volumes of data. It is important also because if we want you to be successful and your application it's going to be used, you will need to achieve this. More things. As before I mentioned, the regulatory and legal compliance is also pretty important. You need to know, you need to understand that if you are going to create a project that can transfer knowledge between blockchains, probably you will need to be compliant with more of one regulatory framework. Okay, more things. Focus on online user privacy and data governance with user-friendly design. As I mentioned, the user-centric approach and human design, it's one of the focus that we want to achieve. Now we're going to be presenting one or two slides regarding to this. And of course, if, as I mentioned, integrate with the work of previous open calls. If you plan to do something with other projects that have been already working with us, mention them, do your research, and see if you can reuse their code. We will put you in contact with them. And also, for example, if your project will use some of the projects of OpenCalls 3, you will share some months of the projects with them. So probably you can work close to them. As I mentioned, regarding to the user-centric, we're going to present this slide by my colleague Andres. He's the expert in the consortium of this part, and this is one of the focus that we want you to achieve.
Hi, thank you, Pablo. So regarding the user-centric approach, what we mean by saying to you that the projects need a user-centric approach is that projects have to adjust to the needs of the possible or expected end users that will make use of your solution. So to make sure that this is so, we apply, or we demand you to apply, what is commonly referred as user-centric approach, which in turn it's UX research, user research, and some interaction with users. And this has several phases, as you can see in the circle here. One is to define actually which users will use your solution, which is also quite good for your business exploitation later on. And then to agree on a sample of users and test initial, let's say, do an initial interaction with your users to see what your users expect, what are their expectations, and what are their demands in the field that your solution moves. I cannot be too specific here, but for example, I don't know, if for example it's a wallet, then you will have to see what the demands are in terms of wallets, or what wallets do they use, some to explore their context of use. In the case of Open Call 4, that may or will be probably other kind of matters. Then once your users have given you, and we go to the part 2 of this circle, which is definition of requirements. Once your users have given you, let's say, a set of requirements or ideas of what do they expect or what would they want, you will have to define these requirements and design and develop your platform and your solution, not just the UI, not just the interface, but also what your solution do in line of what users have told you. And then you will have to test what you've done again with users. So to do this cycle at least a couple of times ensures that your platform, your solution, is indeed in line of what users actually demand from a solution like yours, like the one you're developing. I will not mention all the challenges and expected outcomes, or I will talk about it in the next slide a little bit more, but getting a little bit or very, very briefly about these challenges. This means you will have to find a way to have access to end users, direct access to them. You will have to define a sample size. So how many users are you going to ask and involve in the process? See what are the variables that are interesting for having a representative sample. So I don't know if gender is an important thing, for example, for that will divide your user in different groups. This will have to do, or you will have to address it. Should we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So in terms of what we will ask you to have in the, let's say, in the proposal. So you will have to show us that you are going to do this process from the beginning to end, and at least to provide us with a schedule of it. So to show that your solution will respond to user real needs, to also define your methodology. What methodology will you use? Will you use, I don't know, focus groups? Will you do surveys? We are very open on which methodology you will have, but you will have to define it. You will have to justify a little bit the sample selection of users that you are going to involve, a little bit of a roadmap of all how will this interaction with users kind of convey with the rest of development and design of your platform, and how well you're going to actually reach those users. And also at least give us an account or an idea on how will you integrate the feedback from users into your applications. One very good way to let's say have this is to let you be advised by UX researcher. So it is very positive that in your team there is someone dedicated exclusively about to this. So this person will know exactly what is this all about that I'm talking about, and so this is a strong positive if we can say that you have a person that is professional in this and particularly dedicated to that. And that'll be all, but I'll be happy to answer the questions that are in the Q&A and address whatever is needed from that in the future.
Thanks, Andres. Yeah, as we mentioned, you should present your team, and if you have a UX research, please name it. Okay, we are gonna go through the frequent answer questions. Okay. again, this is a mistake. This is the Open Call 4. It started the 15th of May, and as I mentioned, the deadline is until 17th of this July. Hour is important, okay? So be sure you complete your proposals and the application in the website before that time. We will take 3 months after this date, after the call closure, to discuss about what projects we select, and after that you will have, after we select the projects that are going to participate in this open call, you will have 1 month about the signature and the announcement of the list of selected projects. Okay. As I mentioned, it's going to be 9 months of duration, and it's going to be from November. It's going to be the start date until July 25. Okay, this funding, where does it come from? As you should know, this funding project is by the European Commission, and as I mentioned, it's an Horizon European Framework Program based on the user and the human. And we as a TrustChain are the intermediary consortium that manage this funding. Okay, and how does it work? This is the fourth open call of a cascade funding schema. Okay, this is involving the Horizon European fundings, and this is based on grant agreement signed by the European Commission and TrustChain Consortium, as I mentioned. You will find more information once you join the project in the guide for. You will find more information in the guide of applicants. This is where you have more information explained about the rules and regulations. Okay. Who is eligible for participating in TrustChain Open Calls? There is a list about the countries that can be part of the project, but you will need to be at least a team of natural persons. Teams of individuals are not eligible. Okay, you need to be at least 2 people and be part of this list of eligible countries that I mentioned. Okay. Legal entities, one or more entities, you can be participating as a consortium. Okay, but it needs to be established in the eligible countries that I mentioned. And it can be universities, research centers, NGOs, foundation, micro and small, medium-sized enterprise. Okay, it doesn't matter. Large enterprise also working on internet, on other related technologies are eligible. Okay, any combination above could be part of TrustChain, but as I mentioned, you need to be established in one of the eligible countries of this list. The countries, I don't know if we have the list here, but there is a list, of course, in the guide for applicants. Okay, the member states of the European Union, including their othermost regions. Okay, if you are not in Europe, but you are in one member of the state, you are eligible to participate. Okay. The overseas countries and territories, and the Horizon Europe associate countries. Okay. You will find the list in these links in the presentation. Okay, if you have a question about if you can submit several projects, yes, you can, but it's better for you if you focus on one project. Okay, because if we see you are presenting more than one project, you will need to be very specific about how you will manage this situation. Okay, this is an important matter that we will put effort in see more deeply how you specify the project, the members, and the effort that you are planned to do with us. Okay, and what happens if you are already participating in the open call? So if you have in the past and you want to apply again, what happens? Can you apply? Yes, you can, but you will reach the limit of the funding you will find it in 200K, okay? If you participate in a consortium with other enterprise, other research center, other companies, you will need to specify in what percentage each of the participants are involved in the project and see how this funding is divided in the whole participation of your team. But if you participate with the same company or with the same consortium, the limit is 200K. With this, we reach the end of the presentation. We are going to read now some of the questions that we have in the chat. I don't know if someone of my colleagues want to say something before I start reading the questions. If not, I'm gonna read the questions out loud to be recorded, okay? Let me check. Okay, there's a lot of text here, sorry. I'm reading. I'm gonna ask one quick question here, for example. Is co-creation and or having an end user necessary or mandatory? As I mentioned, this is a very important matter here in TrustChain. So, of course, it's kind of mandatory to do it. I don't know if Andres want to add something here.
Yes, the answer is yes.
Yes, directly.
It is mandatory. You should involve end users, real end users, and it's what is also, let's say, mandatory. It's that they are representative of the different, let's say, kind of end users that you are going to have. This representativeness can be achieved from a, let's say, quantitative perspective. In this sense, you will have to make a large sample, or we recommend, because we know that there is a reduced amount of time for these open calls. You can do it also in a qualitative perspective. So you can choose, let's say, profiles that represent the kind of end users that you will need to have and test with them. But in any case, it is a central part of the user-centric approach to involve real users and not people just internally from your let's say from your company, for example. At the same time, you might think that, for example, your app does not involve users because it's meant for developers, which we have found some other times. Well, those are also users, even though they are developers that are going to interact with your application. So yeah, that'll be it.
Okay, thanks, Andres. Other question we have here is if your project was already funded by government or any institutes, if it is possible to apply. The answer is yes. Other question is related to interoperability. It's when discussing interoperability, making the proposed tools work together across blockchains. Is the aim to achieve interoperability between networks or of the same type of blockchain or between networks of different kind of blockchain? We don't want you to say what you need to achieve. This is your project, of course. The main topic is interoperability. Of course, we are gonna have in mind and count what you want to achieve, and the more complex project you present, more interesting will be. So there is nothing mandatory here, but yeah, you need to enhance the state of the art that already is present and nowadays. Okay, so it's not nothing mandatory here, but yeah, the more interesting, more odds you have. Okay, and this is the first question. It was very large to read, so I don't know. Okay, we also have some support declaration from 2 research institutions in which would you like to follow support? Sorry, One option can be to have research participating applying their existing research and or basis of your. I don't understand this question. Sorry. Can you be more concise? Also, you ask in which section of the template shall the user-centric approach be described? There is no template. I mean, we are gonna give you the opportunity of on some dots to follow. So you need to specify during this 10. I don't remember the word. Sorry. Can someone of my colleagues help me with the first questions? Because I don't understand, to be honest, the first one.
Yes, hello. So basically, as far as I understand, for Luis, you'll be applying as a single entity, but at the same time, you'll be having help from some external partners that might be researchers or other institutions. So in that case, you can apply as a single entity with partners, individuals or other entities. You just have to click what kind of partners that is and be specific about each one of them. But in general, it doesn't have to be just one entity or whatever. It can be a consortium of partners, of individuals, of SMEs. So you can apply all of you for the same project.
Thanks, Piros. Okay, another question. Do we need to share the code solution at the end of the project? And how is the company IP protected? Okay, as I mentioned, this is an open source project. So all the code you develop during the 9 months of duration will be public by the end of your participation. Okay, by the end of the project, it has to be public in the GitHub repository. During the development, it can be private. There is no problem about it. But by the end, you need to create a solution that can be used by other teams, other projects. So yes, you will need to share it. Okay. Of course, we want all the projects and all the companies to be successful, and also we require from you a business plan around your own project. So you will need to build your own business plan and also develop a solution that is open source. Okay, so we don't are gonna tell you how to achieve it. It's your responsibility of doing it. But there is a lot of successful cases in the industry that they create a business around an open source solution. There is no problem about it. Another question, sorry. Are there specific industries TrustChain focuses on? Not really. It's we have some projects related to data, other are to healthcare, other projects based on fitness, other projects based on economy. It's up to you. We don't really care about the industries. How shall support declaration from these partners be added to the application? Spiros, can you jump on this, please?
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean by declaration from these partners. Usually we need the information from the people applying for. So for example, if you're a single entity, an organization plus one individual as a partner, so we'll be needing information for the partner, their name, etc., and information for your organization, for your organization.
Thanks. I don't know if we are missing some questions. Okay, I don't know, one of my colleagues, if they want to add something to this presentation. Otherwise, I think we reached the end. If you have more questions, now is the time.
One more thing that we should focus on is what you said in the end is about people who were funded before and they want to apply again. Of course they can, but if they apply as exactly the same team, they will not be able to receive more than 200K in total funding. So this is something that you should keep in mind if you're applying again.
Thanks for the clarification, Spiros. And I see no more questions. So thank you, everyone, to be part of this webinar. I hope see you presentations in the platform, and good luck for everyone.